Hello friends, my name is Sarah. I'm the artist and maker behind Denim and Rain. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have a knit and chat video. I don't really know what to call it, but I'm going to be knitting and I'm going to be chatting, so I guess that's the appropriate thing to call this. I want to talk about my becoming more intentional with what I'm knitting, how I plan on doing that, and then hopefully that will maybe help you become more intentional with your knitting, because I'm sure you'll be mildly curious as to what I'm working on. This is my daughter's sweater. It is a basic raglan, and I don't have any pattern for it. I just cast on and, increased until it had a nice amount of positive ease on her. I am using Cozy Wool Tweed by Loops and Threads. So yeah, just a basic sweater. So I've been knitting for about 6-ish years or so, about that long. And over the years, I've made a lot of sweaters. I'm not really sure how many sweaters over the years I have made. And I have a good amount that I finished making and didn't like, and gave away to friends or just other people. And I have some that are still currently just hanging out in my wardrobe, being unloved. So my goal this year is to just be really intentional with what I knit and what I add to my wardrobe. Now, I was asked, how do you become more intentional in knowing your style? How do you identify your style? For me, I went to my wardrobe. I've spent a lot of time looking at my wardrobe. My wardrobe is very gray, very neutral, lots of blacks, lots of beige. Not even really much beige. It's mainly just gray and black, let's be honest. And they are all very basic shapes. I have a lot of crew necks. I have a lot of scoop and V-necks with basic drop shoulder t-shirts and maybe the occasional raglan t-shirt, but that's my wardrobe. I don't have a lot of other things within it. Look at this really pretty mug I got from my sister. It's like a slab built one, hand built one, and it's got this really cool ridge on it, this really cool bottom. I know that's not why we're here, but it's such a pretty mug. I always have to share my sister's mugs. So yeah, the first thing I did was I went to my wardrobe to look at what I like and what I don't like. I have realized the shapes that I like the most are the raglans and the drop shoulders. I have knit one sweater that was a yoke and just a brown yoke color work, and I don't like it. The shape is not my favorite to wear. It feels a little bit tight on my shoulders, even though there's plenty of positive ease. I don't like the way it fits on my body. So I do know going forward I will not be knitting any round yoke, which is kind of hard because there have been a lot of really pretty patterns recently that I have seen that use round yokes, and I'm just having to say no to them, to myself, because I have realized I don't like the way it fits on my body. In going to my wardrobe, I have also realized I really like raglans and I really like drop shoulders. I like the way they fit. Originally I thought I didn't like drop shoulders, but then after having made a couple of them, I realized I actually really do like the fit of them. It's just they have to have good shaping to them, because a drop shoulder can be basically a couple of squares sewn together, or it can be some really nice short row shaping in the back to bring the neck up, because I have realized I don't like things pulling on my neck. I've also recognized that there are some colors I want to add into my wardrobe. I really like green and I really like rust. Those are colors that I like and actually wear. Now, there are colors that I like that I know I won't wear. One of those being mustard. I love the color mustard. It's one of my favorites. I even have pillows in my house. I have a throw blanket over there that are mustard. I really enjoy the color, but I know that I can't wear it. It to me makes me look like a hard-boiled egg because I have fairly light skin that is slightly translucent-y, so like my veins can sometimes like show through when it's like purpley, and it's not cute. So like adding that yellow on top just makes me look more translucent and like a hard-boiled egg. So yeah, I also really like electric poppy blues. I find it just to be a gorgeous color, but I don't know, I probably won't ever wear it because it just draws too much attention, and it just makes me look washed out. So I've recognized that those are colors I like to admire, but not to wear. And that's kind of like something that for you guys to go to your wardrobe, look at the colors, look at the styles, what are the things you wear and what are the things you don't wear. And then if you maybe don't have a lot of sweaters to look at as far as knowing what shapes you like, maybe go to a store and try some sweaters on that are like commercially made. Find one that's a raglan, find one that's a drop shoulder, find one that's a round yoke. Try those on. Like probably a thrift store will be your best bet because it's going to have the most variety. So like, you know, any of your like department stores, because they're going to have literally everything under the sun. And try a bunch of different things on and identify the things that you like and you don't like. I like the regular ones. I like the drop shoulders. I like it to have shaping in the back. I like it to have extra long sleeves. I like positive ease, but not to be swimming in it. I don't like too much extra fabric. So those are the things I've noticed that I like and I don't like. From there, I've been trying to identify what fibers I like and I don't like. One of those being mohair. I don't like mohair, not because I don't want to like it, it's just it makes me break out in hives. So I know I can't knit a whole garment out of that. And I know that I like wool. I know that I like alpaca to an extent. And I know I love cotton. Most of you are probably like, ew, cotton. I know there are a lot of you who are like kind of snobs against cotton, but I live in Western Washington where the temperature is kind of like right down the middle, and I like the feel of cotton. I feel like it's more cooling than wool, and I feel less sticky in it when it gets warmer. And yeah, I really like cotton. I have a store-bought like cotton sweater that I picked up at a thrift store years ago, and I love that one to death. It actually has holes in it, so it needs to be retired because it's like a lace sweater, and I don't think I can repair the holes that are in there. I'm sure I could, but it needs to be retired. But I really like the feel of cotton, and I want to create more garments out of cotton just because I feel like it's a very wearable fiber. I also don't mind acrylic. I do want to try to steer away from it a little bit more than I have in the past, just because I do recognize that with acrylic I can only wear it at certain points. It has to be a certain temperature, and I can't be doing something super physical because it will trap in the heat. It doesn't breathe. So it's like this sweater is made out of acrylic, and it's something I kind of have to wear when I'm going to be chilling or going somewhere where I'm going to be chilling and not, you know, running after children or going on a hike. That's that type of thing, because this is not going to breathe, and then it's going to make me sweat, and it's going to trap the orders, and it's not going to be good. So those are just things I've kind of noticed about fibers. And then from there, identifying patterns I want to make. That's where I currently don't have any plans. I don't have specific patterns in mind. I do have, however, specific pieces and types of garments that I want to make. Having gone through my wardrobe, I have identified a couple of different holes that I want to fill. One of those is cardigans. I currently have 3 cardigans. I have a thrifted cardigan that I have worn literally to death. It has a couple of holes in it. I'm hoping I can repair one of them. It has grown a bit. I forgot that it had a hole in it, and then I wore it, and I have made the hole larger. There are a few things I don't like about it, like the back end is shorter than the front end, which drives me bonkers. So any cardigans I do make in the future need to have longer backs, not longer fronts. And I know that I like to wear my cardigans open most of the time, so it has to be able to be longer in the back, because yeah, gonna need a lot of short row shaping. I have 2 champagne cardigans, one that is knit out of 100% alpaca, and it's like a light gray. It's from some yarn that I had thrifted a while ago. And then I also have one out of a dark gray Lion Brand Wool Ease. I like both of these, however they are both gray. I knit them out of gray because I know I like to wear a lot of gray, and it's one of my favorite go-to colors. However, I've realized a lot of my basic pieces that are in my wardrobe, a lot of my basic t-shirts that I go to constantly are in those colors that I knit. And I want to be able to wear the cardigans over those. And then I just kind of look like a big drab gray cloud when I wear the gray t-shirts and then the gray cardigans over it. So I want to knit a few more cardigans and them have either lighter or darker colors or actual like colors. So like right now I'm knitting a beigey cardigan, and then I would like to have one that is white, because white will go great with those lighter, darker grays that I have in my simple pieces. Or I would also really like to have like a rust colored cardigan. But currently I want to knit using what yarn I have in stash, and I have a white yarn, like a really like creamy off-white yarn that I think will be perfect for a cardigan. And then I do have a black that could be used for a cardigan. So I'm playing with those. I'm not 100% sure what patterns. I have been looking. I want something that's simplistic, raglan, v-neck, maybe a shawl collar. I don't know. I haven't found the perfect pattern yet, and it may be something that I have to find a pattern that I mostly like and be comfortable with the fact that I'm just going to make a lot of modifications to it, which I have no problem making modifications to patterns. I've written my own patterns. Most of the things I knit for myself are self-drafted, meaning I literally gauge swatch and then I do all the math ahead of time. I sit and I figure out how many stitches I want to cast on, how many raglan increases, or how many like rows for drop shoulders, etc. So I'm very comfortable making modifications like that. I know not everybody is, and that's totally okay. You may not ever get to that point. It may just come with more practice and knitting more things. Don't feel bad that you can't make a ton of modifications. You'll get there. And if you don't get there, there's no shame in that either. Or if you just don't want to make modifications, you just want to knit from the pattern, I can totally understand that. So yeah, I haven't found the perfect patterns yet, but I'm on the lookout for them. That's kind of the thing. Like, I don't want to plan out exactly what patterns I want. I want to find it and be 100% happy with it, and not just knit something to knit something. So I know I want some more cardigans in my wardrobe. It may not all happen this year, but I know that it's something I want to be on the lookout for and to purposefully add to my wardrobe. Another thing I want to add are more sweatshirt-like sweaters. I love my sweatshirts and I basically live in them. So yeah, I want more like that. I know the trend. I really like this like grandpa-y looking sweater or dad sweater, like where it's like kind of like got a large collar that like folds down. I really like that look. Most of them have zippers though, and I know I'm not gonna like that. I don't like zippers being here at all. So again, being mindful of what I know I like and I don't like is helping me in identifying the right pattern. I'm sure some of those I could add buttons in, but removing zippers and adding buttons into a pattern is not something I want to mess with. So I do have a couple of patterns that I have found that I'm going to look at a little bit more and continue to think on them before I buy the patterns, before I start to knit them. But yeah, I want more sweatshirt-like things. Another note on that, don't be afraid to wait a minute to buy a pattern. A lot of times, I know I used to in the past get very swept up and excited about a pattern, and I would just buy it and then realize this isn't something I want, or this actually isn't the exact style I was looking for. Oh my goodness, it's knit this way and I don't like that type of construction, that type of thing. It's very important to look at the whole of a pattern before diving in. I had my eyes on this gorgeous cabled sweater for a while and I was like ready to buy it. And I decided to read through the description one more time and I realized it was knit flat and then pieced together. And I was like, that's going to be a no for me. I have to be able to just knit in the round. Like, I know it's a process I much prefer, and I know I hate seaming. So, I mean, I'm not like 100% opposed to it. Like, I'm never going to like completely turn my nose up at something because of that. But I just, at that point in time, I was like, yeah, actually, no, I don't think I want to do that. I wanted something. I didn't want the finished object that much. I'm kind of like an in-between process and product knitter. I want the end thing, but I'm not willing to go through a process that's uncomfortable or unfun. And I have lately noticed that my hands are giving me a little bit of grief, especially when I purl. So I knew all that purling was not going to agree with my hands, and that I should just avoid it whenever possible because I don't want to strain my body in any way and end up injuring it or damaging something and then not being able to knit at all. So I'm trying to avoid those purling projects as much as possible. So yeah, don't be afraid to just sit with something in your cart for a while and go back and look at it a few times, because sometimes you just have to look on it with fresh eyes before you really can come to like a decision. Another thing I want to add to my wardrobe is more summer pieces. I knit 3 summer garments last year and I loved having that in my wardrobe. One of them I did give away because it ended up being too cropped, and I've identified that, and I'm going to be very intentional about making sure my summer garments have enough length, because I am not a person who is comfortable showing any sort of midriff. I have had 3 children and have stretch marks like crazy. Even before kids though, and before stretch marks, I probably still wouldn't. I'm just very belly self-conscious for some reason. So yeah, I won't ever wear a cropped t-shirt, even with like high-waisted jeans, if it still peaks up a little bit. It's a no-go for me. So I've identified that, and I know that I need to just add more length to whatever it is that I knit that is technically a crop. But I also knit 2 other ones that I really love. I knit the Soho cami by Kadri, and then the Remy cami by Kadri, and I love both of them so much. One is a tight ribbed tank top, and I just love the way that it fits. It goes so well underneath my like button-up shirts in summer. And then the other one is like nice and loose and flowy, and it's just super cute. So I want to add more pieces like that into my wardrobe. A mix of some tighter tank tops and then some, you know, more loose and flowy type ones. I do also know though that a lot of the patterns have like spaghetti strap type straps on them. They're very skinny, and I like to be able to wear my bra with them, but I don't really like the bra strap showing. So I do want to try to find ones that have a wider strap or be okay with adding in larger straps to specific patterns, because I know I'm gonna want to have that strap covered. So those are my knitting plans, if you will, for this year. Not really like set patterns or anything, just being more intentional with what I add to my wardrobe and making sure they are pieces that I'll actually wear and enjoy the process as well, because yeah, there's no fun to knit something and suffer through it the whole way just to get an end product, at least for me. Hopefully that'll help you too in identifying like what you like and what you don't like, and really be intentional in your wardrobe. I mean, I didn't give like the most like clear cut, you need to do this or you need to do that, because I feel like identifying what you like and don't like is incredibly personal, and it can be a little bit of a journey. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. And I mean, our styles will probably also always slightly be evolving and changing. I mean, mine has greatly changed over the last 6 years. What I would have picked out probably 6 years ago is not something I would pick out today. So it's just something that's going to take time. Don't be discouraged if you end up with multiple garments in a row that aren't exactly what you love. It's gonna happen eventually. I know it can be kind of a tough pill to swallow when you've spent a ton of time knitting something. Also though, don't be afraid to frog things. I've recently frogged 2 sweaters and knit new things out of the yarn, and I am miles happier with what I made the second time around. So just don't be afraid to rip out and use that yarn if it's yarn that you liked in the first place. Promise you're going to be happier pulling the yarn out and making something new than just letting a sweater languish and sit there doing nothing. Or gift it. Gift it. I've gifted lots of sweaters that I've made and decided I didn't like, and they weren't really my style. So it's one of those things it's going to take time. It's taken me a long while, and I'm still probably not 100% there. I'm sure I will still knit things that I'm like, maybe not. So yeah, but that's probably it for me today. Just a short little chat with me while I knit. I did more chatting than knitting. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. All the links to all the places you can find me are down below. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye.